Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's me again. Today I'm doing a little something a little bit differently. I am going to be showing you what I do on a day-to-day, well, not a day-to-day basis, but like what I do for college, what my major is, and what my career is going to be after, college ends and whatnot. Uh, what I'm working on, this right here that you see right here, this is my final set design for a show, and the show is Guys and Dolls, as you can see up here. The title is Guys and Dolls. This is Vectorworks. This is what we use to draft and design sets for. I have my sketchbook in front of me. I've sketched out like the different like city signs and all the details and whatnot on each wall. I sketched out each wall and for each scene, because this is a multi-scene show, and it is the uh, the entirety of what the project was supposed to be is for us to design a multi-scene show, because the shows that we for my set design class, for the shows that we did already, like design and whatnot, were just one set location show, sort of, or at least we had to draft just one location for each show that we drafted, or that we designed for. But this is our final, which is to see how our set design skills that we learned over the course of the semester can be utilized to create an entire show worth of designs and draftings and whatnot for a multi-scene show. And this is pretty much what I got. So this is Guys and Dolls. I am not gonna lie, I fell way behind on this. This whole drafting was this took me about 5 days to get everything done, between my research board. Like, this is on my research board, nothing too fancy and whatnot. And I'm getting a text from my sergeant, or at least one of them. Okay, well, anyways, so yeah, this was my research board that I had. I kind of wanted to go with simple 1950s New York style type design. I didn't really want to go overboard with the abstraction and with the design, because this show is a Broadway show, and it's a straightforward show. It's literally set in Broadway in the night, or set in Broadway in New York City in the 1950s, and it's about the conflict between a hustler's life and love life, and trying to work your way into try to have both lives at the same time, or trying to and for figuring out that you have to better your life for you to have, be successful at romance or whatever. That's what it was to me. Not only was this a show that I picked the design, it was also a show I was in high school. So, I mean, it was a show that I knew, so it was a show that I picked. It was either this show I was going to design, or it was going to be Oklahoma. So, anyway, this is my research board and all the lovely good stuff. I took inspiration with a lot of these stuffs, including these signs and whatnot. I have a bunch of like bunch of sketches that I have here for like the city signs and whatnot. Like, these are the couple of the like sketches that I have for the signs and whatnot. And I'm gonna be utilizing most of these designs and all these draftings, plus some that I think of, because I have a crap ton of signs that need to go up, and and a lot of other things for the scenery for the opening scene. So, yeah. So this is these are the sketches of each light up sign that you would normally see like on Times Square. So that's that, and that's what I'm working on now, or at least going to beginning the process. But anyways, I want to show you what I have so far with each scene comprised of. Obviously, I wasn't going to design because there are 17 different scenes in this. 17 different scenes, but those scene changes happen to be the same scene over and over. They're not the different like a different street off of Broadway. I utilized the same exact street, except I just moved around a couple things. So there's 17 scene changes in total, but there's 10 scenes that I had to 10 different scenes that I had to draft out and design. So here we go. We're gonna start out with the ground plans of the stage of Broadway here that we have here, and this whole thing. This is our proscenium stage here at Wright State University. This is literally we're designing the show for this specific type of theater, the proscenium theater. So as you can see, we got the Broadway backdrop. These are the legs on the line sets. All of these over here are the line sets over here. We got all the electrics. You got leg 1, 2, and 3, which are these things. They're kind of like the shields from backstage for when everything happens backstage. Because there's a lot of moving parts that I have in this show. Not specifically just one specific set. I mean, there's like a lot of set pieces for each scene, so, and which is why I have this backspace here with nothing, because once a scene is set, another scene is getting set up back here, so that way when a transition happens, it can be a quick transition instead of moving stuff off stage and then moving a piece on stage and having that big time gap. So you would have a scene back here ready to be set up while another scene's being moved out and everything, while as well as the drops being moved out. The way I've designed this show is it's going to take a lot of crew members, which back in high school, we had a lot of crew members. If you didn't have, well, I should say this. If you didn't have a scene that you were in the musical and you were like not in the scene and you were part of ensemble, you were part of stage crew. You'd help move on scenery and move off scenery during transitions of each show. But that's the way it was when I was in high school. But this is a different. So we got the Broadway backdrop, we got the blackout backdrop with the scrim in front of it, so that way you have a nice flat kind of, dark, so that way when light hits it, it doesn't protrude behind it, and it's just a black backdrop in front of the Broadway backdrop. And the reason why is because this backdrop here is going to have the hanging light signs on it, which is the sketches that I showed you. This is what this particular scene is going to have. And it's a huge backdrop. I mean, it's on a line set, and this thing is 45 feet wide and about 24 feet tall. And it's made out of 1 inch by 1 inch box tubed metal box tube, and which is what we use on occasion for stuff. All these, like here, wall A, so like wall A and wall B are just gonna be here the entire time. They're gonna be here for the entire show as well as the street lights. The thing is, though, these are gonna be actual like controlled lights that are going to be able to be turned on and off during some scenes. So like the scene inside of the Mission and in Hanover and the Crapshoot Sewer, these are going to be turned off. But during like the Broadway scene, the streets, the scenes on the streets inside New York City, they're going to be on during those scenes. So that's why these are here. They're going to be here the entire time. You have the pit extension here, because in the stage that we have, there's a pit that drops for the orchestra. And so there's going to be a little platform extension out over that. So That way you have a little bit more acting space there. And then you have the proscenium border, which I just finished designing not too long ago. And this is going to be there for the entire show as well. So you got the newspaper stand here that I'm currently designing. We have a bench, a trash can, another street light, fire hydrant, and another hanging line, or another hanging lighted sign on a different line set. And this is literally the first scene. So yeah, so that's pretty much what this is. This is how the process goes. So if something looks like this, it's usually a blackout drop. If it's something like this, it's a scrim. So yeah. Anyways, here's Save a Life mission. I have them on different skids. They move in and they come together as one big set. But so these are multiple pieces. Skid 1, skid 2, and skid 3 are 3 separate skids that have walls on them that they connect. So what's good about this particular piece is that this has an interior for the mission and an exterior for the mission for different scenes. So these skids get turned around for the exterior, so that way you're seeing this side of the wall when the exterior scene is, and then you only see the interior when it, obviously the interior scene. And it's got all the props like the benches, the desk, the armchairs, the wooden chairs that are put up, the shelving on it. And these can be taken on and off when they're not needed. So like during the scene when you see the exterior and not the interior, then you don't need all this. So all like the chairs and the podium could be taken off. They don't have to be put on because it's just time wasted. So yeah, that's what this scene looks like. And you have the cyclorama back here with the Muslim backdrop. So when you have cyc lights, the light bounces off of the Muslim backdrop, and it literally looks like a nice lit up background behind the set, which I have this in a couple different scenes. I don't have them in every scene, but I have in a couple scenes. Alright, so then you got like the phone booth. The third scene that I have, obviously there's a backdrop here. And again, I'm going to say this again. Because there's a backdrop here and because all the action happens up here, back here, the stage crew can get the next scene set up for the next transition, so that way everything can so that way the show can still happen up here while the scene change happens here, and then when it's time for the transition into scene, then it's an easier process. Now you can just move the stuff up here and take out all the stuff in the front, and that's all you really need to do. So for this is just pretty much just the street, except the phone booth's out here. The street lights and stuff are on. Then you got another street light here, another street light here, a bench and a trash can, whatnot. And that's pretty much it. It's simple as that, with a blackout backdrop on line set 8. So yeah. The next scene is the hot box. I designed the hot box to be pretty much most of the stage area is going to be taken up by different set pieces. Like you have, and all these set pieces except for this is the hanging hot box sign that's hanging off of line set 32. But all these are going to be movable set pieces. So like the stage with the wall G on here is going to be, it's literally going to be moved on and off stage. Same with the bar and same with wall E right here. They're all going to be moved on and off stage. They're just movable set pieces. These bar stools, on the other hand, can be changed differently by just how many people you have. Like, these can be set here after, these are set separately from the actual, like, set itself. Like, these are the set pieces, and this is just, like, the furniture and whatnot. Same with the tables and chairs. And this is also going to have the cyclorama and the Muslim backdrop here for the lighting effect. I want us to look sort of reddish. It's going to be red and velvet kind of color because, that's what the hot box is usually it's a nightclub, pretty much what it is. So that's that scene. Let's go to scene 5. This is a street off Broadway. Nothing too fancy. So thing about, so what I pretty much designed this as is that you don't have to take these set pieces fully off stage. You just push them back to the back, far enough back to where the blackout can come in for the next scene, so that way you don't have that, because right here, line set 20 and 21 with these here, it's the same exact ones from the very first scene, the Broadway scene, except the only difference is the Broadway backdrop doesn't come in, so that's the only difference. But it's just the blackout backdrop and the scrim, and it's different. So now you have but this is different from all the other streets, because now you have a hanging cafe sign, you have a street light here, a street light there. They're the same street lights that were in previous scenes. They're just put in different places, so that way you have a little bit of differential type deal between each street scene. Even though it is literally the same exact transition, it's just a different scene. So like you have a tree here and a post office box there. The fire hydrant moved from over here to over there. So yeah. So that way the hot box scene, it can be taken off stage quietly while it's back here and while the scene happens up here. So that way it could be taken off and the mission exterior can be put on as well back here. So that way when this scene ends, the blackout and the scrim can come up and the mission exterior can come in. And as you can see, I don't have all the furniture and stuff in there like I discussed in the previous part of this. And the street lights are still here, except this one moved from here to here, and this one just stays the same. So that's pretty much it. Simple, straightforward with that. Cyclorama's still there, Muslim backdrop. Like the cyclorama and the Muslim backdrop do not move. They stay the same, they stay there. So after that scene, then it's the Cuban scene. Now this is the transition between this scene and this scene is going to be difficult, because now you have to move the scene off while moving stuff on. That's the only hard part about the transition between this scene and this scene. Oh wait, I'm an idiot. No, never mind. No, it works fine. Because after this scene, this is Act 1, Scene 6. This is Act 1, Scene 8. So what we have after the mission exterior is back to Act 1, Scene 7, which is the street. So it actually works that way. Never mind, I'm an idiot. So all these are different. These are all separate scenes, but they're just, some of them are repeated, and they happen throughout the scene. The only ones that happen only once is the West 40s, which is another street, the sewer crapshoot, the phone booth, and the Hanover Club inside. The Hanover in Cuba, and the Hanover exterior, which is, a whole different thing on its own. So yeah, after this is back to this scene, and then after this scene, it's this scene. So it works hand in hand, where you can literally move the piece out behind the black backdrop and literally move it off stage and move a whole entire other set piece on stage. So that's the way it kind of works in that way. So here's the Hanover, the inside the I think it was like a little nightclub in Hanover. So you have these two walls here. They kind of look like, here, let me get my sketch out and turn my camera on so that way you guys can see. So right where my hand's at, this is the this is the scene. This is how I drew it out, and I have it like kind of, this is what it's going to look like, or somewhat like it. It's not going to look exactly like that. Obviously, it's going to have a little bit more detail, but yeah, that's the way it's going to look. It's going to look kind of like that. So you got like a palm tree here, a palm tree there, and a large tropical bush and a pot here with tables and chairs. And these are the archways here that you can enter and exit from with with the cyclorama backdrop and whatnot, and yeah, it's a good scene. You know, I'm glad I designed it the way I did, so that way everything can be easily moved. Because after this scene is the Hannibal exterior, so all you really need to do is move these tables and chairs out of the way, and you can literally put the backdrop in and move the palm trees out there. So that way the set for the Hannibal inside of the dive can stay back here and be taken off while the action appears going on. Obviously taken off very quietly, but still being taken off while another scene is put in behind it. Which is why I put these kind of scenes up here, upstage. So that's why I got a Cuban street light here. I got a bench. I got the same large tropical bush in a pot. So, and yeah, that's pretty much what this is. And then after that scene, I think it's back to Act 2. You're back to the mission. You're back to the mission in Act 2, Scene 1. Where's that at? Act 2, Scene 1. Act 2, Scene 1. Where's Act... Oh, Act 2, Scene 1 is here. So it's the hot box. So the hot box gets put behind it again. So after the hot box, it's this. Back to the street. The hot box gets put back here. And then before this scene right here, or after the scene, is the crapshoot in the sewer. So like after this whole scene is the manholes here with the manhole like kind of guardrails. If you ever seen the manhole guardrails, they're kind of like they're yellow. They're like to caution out that area if they're like working on the manhole, which is what you got right here. You got the traffic cones here. And then the fire hydrant's back here, the street lights back there. You got a tree here, the benches here, and the trash cans there. And yeah, so like it's the same kind of like setup with the same exact props and furniture. They're just put in different areas of the stage, so it makes it look like it's a different location. Except it's really the same location. It's just switched around, except with a new manhole. So that's that. And then you got the final thing, which is the sewer crapshoot. This is the biggest one that I drafted out, because you have like all the stuff happens here, and this can come up, and the blackout drop comes down. Wait a minute, hold on. I think I messed that up. No, I didn't. This is another blackout drop back there. That happens. Okay, sweet. So that happens. So when that happens, this can be put back here while this scene is going on, and then when it's time for the scene change, you can literally move these walls up here, and with the new blackout drop coming in. So literally, it literally works hand in hand that way. So. Alright, and you got this sort of type deal. You got wall L with a bunch of pipes coming out. You got wall M with the skid that has the big old fucking tunnel. I should not, excuse my language, with the big old tunnel that if you ever look in the sewer, which I can show you, like the sewage tunnels here. And let's see here, right here, I kind of wanted to make them like this and like this. So yeah, that's what that's gonna be. And then you got this big old long 20-foot wall that is pretty much two walls put on top of a big old like a skid that's about 1'6" off the ground. So it'll look like a sewer, because you got like pipes coming out of it, out of the walls. You got pipes going into the ground. You have a movable sewage pipe here to make some sort of depth in this whole scene. It is also on a skid that's also a foot and a foot 6 off the ground as well. These are all going to be movable, like they're going to have casters and stuff on that as well. And then and the thing about this one is that because there's space back here, the inside of the mission happens after this. So it's like this is Act 1 Scene 3, Act 2 Scene 3, and then the interior of the mission is, oh no, that's never mind. It's Act 2 Scene 5. Act 2 Scene 4 is the street. So anyways, it still works. It still works in that way. So Act 2 Scene 2, that comes in. Act 2 Scene 4 comes in. Yeah. So it literally works hand in hand together. But anyways, these are all my ground plans for that. Here's all the stuff that I drafted. So like this is the proscenium border and backdrop. So like this is the backdrop here that's going to be made out of the 1-inch metal box pipe. So that's what this is going to look. It's going to look like a grid. There's going to be light up signs all over this thing. So when it comes in, it's going to be like looking like Times Square here. And this is probably my favorite thing that I did so far for this was the actual proscenium border. This is going to be literally the bordering the outside of the set. So that way you're looking through here. This is going to be like your TV screen, and you're going to see all the sets here. And I'm going to be making a entire I'm gonna take a drink of my Celsius because I'm kind of talking out my rear right now. I didn't prepare for this at all. And so I'm going to be making an entire rendering of this in Photoshop, like a 3D rendering and whatnot, where you have this whole thing. This is honestly one of my favorite parts of this that I did. I had fun doing this part. But this whole entire thing is far from finished, and it's due Thursday. So yeah, you have that. You got the newspaper skids and walls that I have drafted out. I just don't have the detail on it yet. There's the platform that I needed to add the divider to. Let me just do that and add a divider to it. There we go. I'll just scoot that bitch up there, and boom. Alright, so anyways, there's that. There's all my walls and the platform, and obviously I'm going to be, once all these have all the details and stuff on it, on the side and like an open space here, I'm putting them all together, and it's going to look, you're going to see the thing in its entirety. So once it's all said and done, I mean, I'll do that later. I'll post a separate video on that later, but that's just I'm in the process of that now. So here's the Anti-Pro walls and hanging signs. So the Anti-Pro is literally this thing right here. This is the Anti-Pro. And then these are the walls that are, so these are these walls right here. Those are those walls, which are going to have hanging lights on them as well. So, and then these are like the hanging street lights and the hanging cafe signs that you saw in these ones. I forget, the hanging street light was here. No, that's the hanging cafe sign. So that's the hanging cafe sign. Here's the hanging light sign. That's another in the first scene. And they're on different line sets, I do believe. Yeah, they're on different line sets. So that's what those are going to be. So here's the Save a Soul mission, interior and exterior, obviously. So that's why I have two of everything. So like this is the interior, because if you're looking at it from this way, you're looking at it from here. You're looking at it from the front. So like my mouse is literally where you're standing, and you're looking at the wall. You're gonna see this. From the back side, if you're looking at it from this side, it's gonna be flipped like this. So that's why you have interior, interior, exterior, exterior for the Skid 1. And then here's the platform that's going to be it as well. This is the top of it. This is the side of it. Like these are the tops of the walls, and these are the sides of the walls. These are literally the front views. Top view and front view. pretty much what it is. Pretty straightforward. Here's the second skid that you see right here. You got your interior, exterior, exterior, top view, front view. Obviously, they don't have much detail on it because I haven't got to that yet. I wanted to do this. It's pretty much what to show you guys what I do in this sort of thing. So here's the Skid 2 platform. This is the top view. This is the side view. This is how it's gonna. I mean, this is how it's gonna look regardless. So, if in the interior, you're gonna be looking at it from this point right here. If you're looking at it from the exterior, you're gonna be looking at it from over here. And that same goes for this one. Interior is gonna be on this side. Exterior is gonna be on that side, which is why you got it right here. And obviously, it'll make more sense when I have everything put together and done and whatnot. But yeah, that's the mission interior and exterior type deal, which is why I have 2 of every wall. So that's that. So here's the hot box. The hot box was an interesting thing to design. Here's the here was the wall E. If you wall E right here. It's gonna look exactly like this. Where did I go? It's gonna look exactly like this. It's gonna have a little curvy to it. It's gonna have a little archway here, and yeah. So that's what that looks like. Here's gonna be the hot box hanging side. It's not gonna look like these ones because it's just gonna be literally its own thing. It's gonna be literally its own sign that I have yet to design. Or no, I have designed it. I've sketched it out. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I have it. Yeah. So I want it to look something. So I want it to look something like that. Is what I have. This is literally the whole hot box that I designed. So like. The stage, if you've seen it earlier, is going to look like this, and then the bar is going to look like that. And that was the, this over here was the ground plan that I originally sketched out. So, yeah, that's that. So that just gives you a general idea of what I want that sign, or what it's going to look like, or what I want it to look like. Anyways, that's that. Now it's to the bar, which I have this in separate. I have separate pieces for this. So this is like the bar portion of the bar skid. Like it's all one skid, it's all one big movable piece of scenery. So this is the bar. So I have the I have in different sections. I made it in different sections so that way it's easier to read and look at. So like I have a D, you have A1, or no, A1's over here, you have A2. And this is drawn. These are drafted in a ways from if you're looking at it from the front view perspective, you're not going to see the inside of this. So you're going to be this is drafted as opposed if you're looking from this side. Same with this, and then same with that. So that's why they look the way they do. And then E I only drafted once because it's used multiple times throughout this. These are like the walls that the tabletop sits on top of. And here's the tabletop. So it's going to be 1.5 inches thick, I believe. Yeah, it's 1.5 inches thick, and it's going to be pretty much this shape. B is in the same exact manner. So like if you're looking at B2 from this side, I need to label those. I didn't label those. But anyways, if you're looking at from B2 from this side, that's what that's going to look like here, right here. And then if you're looking at B1 from this side, that's what that is right there. And then there's the top section of that with this is, I mean, it's the same thickness. I just drafted it because that's kind of how I needed to do it. This is into these, so this is C1, C2. This is like 1, 2 of the top of the bar. And this is the, so like if I'm looking at C2 on this side, so that's why it's drawn here, and C1's here. And that's pretty much the bar. And obviously, you know, it'll make more sense when I have it all put together and you can see the full thing in full front view. But yeah, the wall F here is going to look like this. This space right here is where the platform is going to be, and this is the platform right here. So if you're looking at it from the front, it's going to be looking like that. This is pretty much what it's going to be. And this is how thick it is. It's about 6 inches thick. So there's that. Here's the stage with wall G. Wall G is literally this whole thing right here, and this is literally the whole thing. It's literally a stage that has a proscenium archway with the curtains and whatnot. Drafted them like that earlier, and then you have the platforms. So you have S1, S2, and S3. S1 is going to be the tallest. It's going to be about 1'4" off the ground. S2 is going to be 8 inches off the ground, and same as S3 is also going to be 8 inches off the ground. And there's the front view of what it's going to look in its entirety. So, yay! So that's the hot box. Hanova Club walls are drafted in the similar fashion. So like here's what it looks like when you're looking at it from the top. H1 and H2 are going to be combined to make one giant wall, but they're just drafted separately because, you know, that's the way they're going to be built. You can build it as an entire one wall, but for easier sake and for drafting's sake, you got to draft it like this, as well as the top portion, because it's going to be coming up to a tapered point. It's going to be like looking at a house like this that's going to have like a roof. It's not really a house. It's more of a monumental building type deal that if you look at Cuban buildings, they're kind of Latin style, and this is pretty much like a little club that they're on the outside, and that's pretty much how I drafted it. The flower bed's going to be an elevated flower bed about 2'4" off the ground. Included in this flower bed is going to be a palm tree, which is right here, and that's pretty much that. And then walls J and K, which are not there, which are here. J's and K are going to be behind it, so that way you're not seeing this. You're seeing a different wall to the outer part of the building. If you ever look at one of those buildings that you have the archway, kind of like an awning type deal, and then you have another wall inside of it, that's like an entryway to a whole different building. That's what these walls are for. And I'll have those drafted out. And last but not least, you have the sewer walls. I'm going to talk about this first, and then I'll talk about each individual wall. So what I have here is I have the movable sewer pipe. This is what it looks like from looking at it from the front. This is the top view of it. And this is what it looks like from the front. So you got this nice pipe here. It goes to nowhere, and and this is going to be hidden by a leg anyway. So you're only going to be seeing about this much on this side of the line that I just drew. You're only be seeing that much. So this is what it looks like on the top entirety, and then dividing it all. So you got this wall that's coming up to a point with the skid, and obviously I'll have the front view drafted once I finish all the details out. Same goes for wall M. There's that big tunnel, the sewer tunnel that I was talking about. Here's that skid, the top and bottom, the top view and the side view, or the front view I should say. And here's Q, and this is an entire wall called Q. We just have Q1 and Q. We just have two different walls into one, making the entirety of wall Q. It's Q1 and Q2, and that's what these two walls look like. And then here's the skid for that. Obviously, I'll have more information about it, but yeah, this is not the entire thing, but this is most of what I have done so far. And holy crap, I did not realize it took me 40 minutes just to talk about it. But yeah, this is what I do. This is the culmination of my work that I do for college and the work that I will do for my career in design technology for theater. So this is pretty much it. its entirety. And obviously, I'll have an entire full version of this. I mean, I still have to draft. I still have to do the 3D models for every single one of these scenes, as well as, you know, all the everything put together, how it looks here, as well as all the details. And then once all that's done, then it's to the paint elevations and stuff like that, where I have to add color and texture and whatnot. And I do that in Photoshop. And that's what I'm going to be doing here after a while. So, but anyways, that's pretty much what I do. If any of you guys were interested in what I do for my life's work, this is pretty much what I do. Not only do I design stuff, I also build stuff, which I'll have. It's going to be a completely different video of what I do. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, if you guys enjoy what I do, and if you guys want to see more stuff like this, let me know. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions about the process of how how stuff like this goes, you guys can also ask me down in the comments section below, or you guys can reach out to me, whichever. Whoever knows me personally or have me on social media, you guys can always ask me about this sort of stuff, or you guys can leave a comment down below, and I'll see if I can get to you and answer you that question as detailed as possible, if you guys are so inclined to do so. But anyways, this was me showing you what I do for theater and what I do in college and will do outside of college when I graduate. And I thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever I post. Thank you guys, and this is me, and I'm signing off. See you guys in the next one.